So here we are, we're in the family dining room at the John Marshall House. We're starting to remove the wallpaper, the old wallpaper that was put up in the 1970s. And our paper hangers, Bud Williamson and Roger Rowe, are hard at work removing the old paper and prepping the walls so that we can put up the new reproduction paper.
It's a paper that is made the same way they did in the 1700s in what's called a block print. You can see the lines here. When you trim the paper down by hand, then you get a piece that's exactly 19.5 inches across and 19.5 inches long. We had to repair the plaster, strip the old wallpaper, and prime the walls in preparation for the installation. The paper has to be hand trimmed. This is what I'm doing right now. You have to line the paper up on the pattern, and then you take a sharp razor blade and run it down the edge of the paper, like so. Because the paper is handmade, it's not as exact as machine-made paper. There will be slight differences and flaws in the paper, but that is part of its appeal because it has a handmade look to it. As you can see, the paper, although it's pretty precise, it has areas where the pattern will vary a little bit. That's part of its beauty. The wallpaper is real wallpaper. It's acid neutral so that it will not deteriorate due to the pH in it being incorrect. And it should last as long as they desire for it to be on the wall. As you can see, we've got one corner up, and what we have endeavored to do is to center the pattern around the central window here, so that when you look in the main door at the pattern, you'll see the same thing on both sides of the window. We thought that was probably the most important focal point of the room. The length of the paper is 106 inches from the crown molding to the chair rail. It's a little under 9 feet. And there are 12-foot ceilings in here. This paper has no glue on it. I know some of you are familiar with pre-pasted papers. Well, this is a non-pasted paper, so we must put glue on it in order for it to adhere properly to the wall. And what we use is a clear cellulose-based wallpaper with mildew and mold inhibitors and stabilizers in the glue. It is a non-staining glue, so that if a little bit gets on the front, it won't damage the print. We can have a little time to get it off without any damage. And what we do, very simply, is we take a roller with some glue and roll it down the middle. For all you do it yourselfers, this is a free lesson. Then we roll the glue over to the edges, making sure that we cover the edges thoroughly, because the seams are usually the point of any problem that you have with wallpaper. So we want to put the glue on there, roll it out, move it over to the other side so we keep it nice and clean. Don't get any glue on this side, on the front. Get another little half roller full and roll it in the middle, and repeat the procedure. Just rolling the glue along the edge, making sure that you cover the edge thoroughly, but not with too much glue, because you don't want it to wick around to the front of the paper and get on the front. And we put the roller down, and now we must fold the paper, glue upon glue, in order that the paper may soak or rest. That is the term that paper hangers use. And we line the edge up, get the air out, smooth it out nicely, and then we repeat the process for the bottom of the paper. And you will notice that this piece is longer than this piece will be. That is because that tells me this is the top of the paper, and that's how I keep that straight when I'm at the wall. Again, we just repeat the process down the middle. Again, go to the edges from the middle, holding the paper in place with your other hand so that you don't get any glue on the front. Move it over to this side and glue this edge. Just like so. And roll over it again just to make sure you've got all of the edge. And then put the paper in the middle and fold the bottom. And once we've got that folded, we roll it loosely, like so. And we let it sit from between 5 and 10 minutes so that the paper will relax, and when we put it on the wall it won't shrink up or expand or do anything that it should have already done when you put the glue on. That's it. I am setting my left edge so that I can keep the wallpaper level. This seam here has already been put up with a level like this. So I know if I hang to this seam and don't overlap it or gap it, it will be straight. So I set my seam first, and I take my brush and brush up and down the seam. Then I lift this up, lift this side up, and brush sideways. And that way it stays straight as it can, given the irregularities of the wall, which there are always a few in a plaster house. Then I just take this and pull the air bubbles out. And I take my seam roller and very lightly roll the seam. Then I check my seam, make sure it's together, butted, and then it matches properly all along the edge. Take my glasses off so I can see what I'm doing. Old age is like that. Get it together good. And then I want to cut my top. Take my plastic smoothie tool and a new razor blade. With this reproduction paper, you have to use a new blade on every cut. And I just pull the blade across using the plastic guide, and pull it down and cut it where it didn't cut with my scissors. Get rid of the trash. Push the bubbles out. Check it with my hand and then wipe off any glue that's on the trim.